Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cosmic Conversations. I'm your host, Sheila Seppi. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. What an honor it is to be here. It is such a gift to be sharing this time with everyone. I'm going to introduce Marina, which is going to come on and jump on with her part. Marina Seren is a psychic medium, conscious channeler, ET contactee, abductee, experiencer of hybrid programs, the Secret Space Program, Psychic Super Soldier Insider, and the MK Ultra Monarch Survivor. So Marina, thank you so much for being here today, and please welcome.
Thank you, Geraldine, and thank you, Tia. I love your presentation. So many interesting topics to talk about for sure. One of them being the SSP, my favorite, because I have a lot of history with it. I happen to be a person that just not experienced the Secret Space Program as in this lifetime, but in another lifetime, as I was part of the history of the creation of the space program itself. I'm talking about societies of Germany and Austria that were created during World War II and World War I. Specifically, if you see this pendant that I'm wearing, this is a symbol of one of the societies that I was part of in those lifetimes. It's called the Real Society. When I was having my Kundalini awakening in this life, one of the things that I noticed is that these people are still alive. They have technology and techniques, spiritual techniques and technology that made them able to to stay alive besides much time have passed, So many people are asking, where is Maria Orsic, that famous medium that, it was the key to giving the German military back in the last century, all this technology that then it will create the Secret Space Program and the Dark Fleet and also the German civilians, breakaway group, sorry. She's an awesome person. She's an amazing, beautiful medium. I was close to her in both of my past lives, and I will explain later what I mean with that. And so as I said, people were asking, where is this lady? Where is Maria Orsic? Maria Orsic is alive. Maria Orsic is here on Earth. I have had contact with her. She has been guiding me for a long time. She's guiding also other people that she's connected to. But I did have telepathic communications with her as I was part of her societies, and also I was her lover in one of my past lives. Now, this is a pretty strange thing to say. How is that I share two lifetimes with one person? Well, as crazy as it sounds, I had two incarnations during this period of time, which is the World War I and World War II. I was told by my star family that I decided to take two incarnations in there. And in one of them, I was a real medium. I was close to Maria Orsic that way. I was part of these societies and I was working as a medium as he did. And I also facilitated a lot of this technology and information that the Germans got eventually during those periods of time. And in another incarnation, I was a high military man of Germany, and Maria Orsic was my lover. She and I had a relationship, a love relationship, a romance. And that's why I had such a deep connection with her. And she's close to me because we had a romance. We were partners and we were friends. So eventually what happened is that when Maria Orsic and these mediums started to channel all these informations to the German military, and they started to create in these spacecrafts and other kind of technologies to eventually create the space program and other breakaway civilizations. What they did is that when they observed that things were turning off negatively with the Nazi Germans, they started to make contracts with reptilians and draconians to create the Dark Fleet as we know it to be. That's exactly when the positive Germans and the real society women, the medium, that decided that that was not their path. That was not what the plan was originally about, because the technology was given to them on purpose to win the war against the Masonic people who wanted the New World Order, They were fighting against communism because the communism coming from these Masonic beings that wanted, it's the ones that was coming from an intention to establish a new world order. So they were given this technology and purpose so that this kind of new world order was not imposed on Earth. It was a plan eventually. But when they observed that this plan was started to be interrupted or, negatively taken into a different direction, it's when the Germans, both the Brill, the Thule societies, then the Nazis, the National Socialists, all of them split into two different main groups, which are the dark fleet being the dark beings eventually, the ones who made contracts with the reptilians, the ones who performed the genocides, the ones who made contracts with the Greys, and they started to adopt people and to create all these different, programs like MK Ultra, etc. And eventually, the ones who didn't decided that they wanted that kind of path, who are positive oriented. And those are many of the German breakaway civilizations that we see that are in the north, in the South Pole, in inner Earth. We see Germans outside of the planet in the solar system, because they split into two different groups, because they are different. They just are not the same. Some of them decided to ally, to keep their alliance with the positive Pleiadians, and some of them decided that they wanted to gain more power, to become part of the elites, of the cabal. But nevertheless, Maria Orsic, when that was happening, she didn't stay like other Germans or hide in the poles or in inner Earth. She decided that she didn't want to do anything with this, so she eventually took a spacecraft and with her team, and they left to Aldebaran. Aldebaran is the star system of the beings of the Anunnaki Pleiadians, where they got their technology from. These are the beings that they consider to be their star family, or they're the creators of one of the most influential, let's say, species of humanity, positively speaking. I have had contact also with them. I have had many incarnations as one of them. And so they have been helping me in recovering all this information. So as I was saying, that's when everything came to me in 2017 or 2018 approximately. When I was having my Kundalini awakening is when I started to receive actual communication from these beings, from the real societies, from the Anunnaki Pleiadians, from the positive space program groups, because as crazy as it sounds, there are some groups of the space program who are not working with the dark ones, with the dark fleet. They are working with positive ETs, and they are working for a liberation, of humanity. They are many times called the Alliance, I believe, but I think that name has been, transgressed or taken into different interpretations along, since it was ever first introduced. But as far as I know, they're making agreements with people not only from Aldebaran or from Pleiades or from, Andromeda, I don't know. They have many contacts, not only from those civilizations, but also from the beings who care a lot for us, which are the inner Earth people. The people are in the inner Earth. Those are, nonetheless, that our ancestors. And I have also deep connection to them, to specifically the Agarthans, which I have a contact from. I had actually experiences in which I was taken out of my body and I was being brought to Agartha. And they show me their civilization, and it's pretty much like the ancient civilizations that you will see as Atlantis and Lemuria. And that is because they come from there. They are a parallel evolutionary line of us, who refugied in the poles and inside of Earth because another group of Anunnakis, which are their political enemies, they found a way to manifest a catastrophe who will try to extinguish them so that the humanity will not be an advanced species. That's when the survivors remaining in the surface were gassed with a real specific technology. It was a gas that it's able to down a species. They were manipulated with a really specific technology, which is this gas that I'm talking about. We were brought back into a state of being that was less advanced than all these ancient civilizations like the Atlanteans, Lemurians, the Hyperboreans, etc. And that's how eventually they were able to bring back control over the earth people, to us, and slavery by, trying to extinguish the ones who were advanced, the ones who were maintaining that ancient knowledge that was brought, eventually in the past by these Anunnaki positive beings and more ETs. So these inner earth people are trying to make contact with the surface because they see us as their family. They are our family. They are our ancestors, and they want us to become again like them, to become advanced beings, to be able to have anti-gravity technology, free energy technology, to not have any kind of control over us, any kind of slavery, any kind of, anything that is negative. They don't want our negative circumstances and our challenges. They don't want any of that. So the inner people are trying to make contact with us, and they want to bring us back all of this knowledge that we lost over time. It's a really important thing that we not focus only in the, let's say, ET phenomena as much as also the inner earth, people. And this is something that the disclosure is not so discussed about. And I think that it was a great opportunity for me to bring forward, because to bring here in the table, because not many people are talking about these people, about these beings, and they're focusing mostly in the otherworldly, in the UIPs. As we hear in the hearing, we see cases of UIPs recorded, and I think that is really important that the scientists and the military not only discuss these things, but also that the earth is hollow. It's not as the models, the scientific models that, we used to believe in when we were when we were taught that in the educational system of this planet, of this society. So I believe that it's really important that we remember our ancestry. We remember all these ancient civilizations that we once were, and we become again one with them, so that we can take our power back and stop the slavery, and of course stop the regressive secret space programs on the regressive ETs from doing all this harm that they did to us. I am a survivor of MK Ultra. I am a survivor of many horrible experiments. One specific, another let's say organization that is part of these terrible crimes against humanity is called Umbrella Corporation. They are taking humans into their laboratory, into their military bases, and they're experimenting on super soldiers, abductees, psychic humans, starseeds, etc., like a bunch of different people. And they are experimenting with virus, and they are the responsibles of some of the, let's say, events that we experienced with the pandemic and all of it in the past. So I don't want to talk really much about that, because again, this is going to YouTube, but they were responsible for virus manipulation, DNA genetic manipulation, human experimentation, human trafficking, all these different things. So, they have bases in Mars, they have bases in the moon, they have military bases on the ground. These people, these star fleets, these beings are really looking for a transhumanist agenda and a new world order. And this is happening right now. And we are survivors of all of this. And we are here bringing these messages and this information forward, because with disclosure, we're making it happen so that the positive space programs have the visibility that they need to have, so that they take this, let's say, they embrace the role that they might have in this liberation of humanity, because they are participating they're participating in this projects of disclosure and human freedom from slavery and from all these negative regressive groups so hard, and so, you know, every day they just do it so consistently and with so much love, so much enthusiasm, that, you know, I thought that it was really important to bring that up, you know, because if we believe that they are all against us, that's also not accurate. We need to stop thinking that all Germans were negative, because that's something that people want us to know. And why I say this is because recently the Germans, the positive Germans, have been helping me in regards to free energy technology. They have been guiding me. One of my dream careers was to become a physicist, and I'm still in the process of becoming a physicist. And one of the projects, one of the things that they wanted me to take part in, it's to learn, to remember, rather than to learn, to remember that I was part of these events in which we will give away and channel free energy technology, you know, anti-gravity technology. So we are like their representatives here on Earth, the survivors of the space programs, and they're looking for us. They know about us all, starseeds, you know, super soldiers, they know about us, and they're working with us in the astral or in the dream state with our clones. They have similar technology, of course, as the negative regressive space programs. So they are also at the same level, you know. So they're working with us, and I think it's time to give them that visibility. Like, I think it's time for people to become aware about the inner Earth people, about the good space programs and the Alliance, you know, these positive ETs that are trying to free us from the Dark Fleet, from the Draconian Empire. And that's a process that is already taking place. So I believe that they are going to be amazing guides for humanity, that is going to be a great era of disclosure. And I'm willing to inform people as much as I can about my experiences, my personal story, all the information I have, everything that I have to give, either positive or negative. And so it's a pleasure, for example, to be here for that reason, so that I can share and I can help in my own ways.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marina. That was amazing. So I would love to, I know Tia was talking a little bit about that. Maybe I can jump in and present for 30 minutes, and then maybe we can kind of talk about all these topics at the end. So let's make some points, and yeah, I'd love that. Thank you so much, everyone. All right, so really briefly, I'm going to introduce myself. I am the founder of hybridmother.com. It's an international research and support group for experiencers, hybrid parents, and interdimensional phenomena. I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist, and I have a lifelong history of contact since very early age. I am also having had 24 hybrid children as a result of that lifetime of contact. But my primary work is dedicated around understanding the hybridization program and disseminating our understanding of the hybridization program in connection to our bloodlines and our origins here seated in life and how it affects us. So my hybridization program and the research of commonly held dogma of the human genetic timeline, historical record, and human structure. And I've been a part of many different film projects, including Extraordinary Seeding, which focuses on talking about the hybridization program. So let me actually